Hello, sewing friends, and welcome back to Bluegrass Dreams and Seams. My name is Cheryl. This is my sewing channel. I started a couple of years back, and it's been growing gradually. And I want to welcome all the new subscribers that I've seen pop on just recently in the recent weeks. A little bit of a surprise because I really haven't released a video in a while, but I'm always pleased to see that people are joining in and checking me out to see what I have to offer. This video is going to feature about 2 trips I took to 2 events, as well as a dress I made for Easter, and also the main part is the fabric manipulation top that I made. We'll talk about that, as well as a bonus because I had an accidental bleeding of red dye from a fabric into the white parts of another fabric in a recent make. And I did not realize it until it had been hanging in the closet for a while. So we're going to talk about that as well, and what I'm doing to try to remedy that accidental bleeding. First, let's talk about the Cocoa Bill dress that I made for Easter out of fabric that I took from my mother's stash. She had passed away, and I was going through more boxes of fabric. Anyway, found this beautiful lavender fabric. I mean, this is gorgeous. And I really thought it was 100% linen, but it is not. It doesn't hardly wrinkles. Now, I really like this dress. The Cocoa Bell dress is very comfortable, and it's perfect as a size 16. I can actually get into that. I'm just thrilled. But the pattern is older, so the sizing is much different. I did have to cut off 6 inches because I didn't have enough fabric to cut the full length. The dress is designed to go almost to the ankles. So, you know, I sacrificed 6 inches. And very comfortable to wear. Love it. Now, next thing we're going to talk about is this shirt that I made. I wanted to take this Marcy Tilton pattern and use fabric manipulation on the collar because the collar is 6 pieces or 6 different collar sections. The first thing I want to point out is this overlay of there's an overlay piece, single collar piece that goes over a doubled collar piece, so a front back. I just decided to make the one that was behind solid blue because I wanted to feature it through the check fabric. About this, you see that on around I did some pin tucking sections on some of the collars, which I thought that was kind of interesting to give a little texture to that. And then the one section where I did some bigger tucks, like about a ½ inch is what they turned out to be. If you want any tutorials on any of these procedures, just let me know in the comments below. I'll be happy to do that. After I did the collar section that has a little square cutouts, I decided, wouldn't that be kind of neat to feature that on that left side? I had made a side already for that. I've already decided what it was going to be, but you know, sometimes when you do a technique, it's always good if it shows up somewhere else on the garment. So I decided to go ahead and change that while I could. And so those are hat blocks that are partially covered up by the front overlay because I didn't want that. I just kind of a little peekaboo. Hey, it's there, but you really are not being featured as much as that collar is. So that is the shirt. I do want to point out another one thing I changed from the directions. On the sleeve here, you'll see there's a tuck that I've taken. You're supposed to fold it wrong sides together, or no, right sides together, and make that. I did wrong sides together so that it'd be featured on the right side of the fabric. Next, let's talk about the 2 events that I went to. Last week, I went to Nashville's Nash Fest. It was very nice. I enjoyed it very, very much. I didn't buy much, but I did buy 2 things. Here they are. One of them was a yarn that the company had. They're based in Nashville, Dusk to Dawn Fibers, and this was their dyed for the festival only. So it's Nash Fest 2026. This is their colorway for that. So I really like that. I kept going back to it. I kind of have a rule when it comes to yarn anymore that if I go to it and I keep picking it up, by the fourth or fifth time, I just keep it in my hand and pay for it. So that was one of those things. The other thing that I bought was this kit. This is one of those looms, and you can make a bookmark. Went ahead and bought the whole kit because this is something I could do with my granddaughter when she comes this summer. So I went ahead and bought that as well. And that is all I bought at the Nash Fest. I was ready to go home. All right, so today I went to the quilt show that we're having here in Paducah, and I bought quite a bit more there. Things just kind of captured my eye, and I thought that's interesting. I've never seen that before. I want to take that home. So there was a lady there. She had two patterns, this one and this one. Of course, she had many others, but I like both of these, Stitch and this one with the sheep. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to show you one of these, is take these mesh bags. You work these on there. So I bought I bought a blue one for this one, and I bought the purple one for the sheep because that was my favorite. I also purchased a bag pattern because this is great for those charm packs, I think is what they call them. Those were really nice bags. She had them on display, and I thought, yeah, I'll go ahead and get that too. And then when I'm on the road, I love to have little things like this to work, and so I bought some more needle keepers. This one has a little B button in it, so I thought those were really cute and not very expensive. Everything you need is in here except for thread, and I have plenty of that. And I'm always glad to see this lady, Studio Cat bag zippers. You could use these on other things too. She actually has some that don't have the double zipper on it. These are specifically for bags, and that's what I bought it for, but I've used the single zipper ones on jackets before, and they're very, very nice. And then the last thing, I waited till I'd been through the whole thing, went back. This guy is in Nashville. He does his Shaker Sawdust is the name of his company, and I'll leave everything in the information box below. I had to have it. Handmade. You get the scissors, actually there's a magnet in there, and then he has a little hole that he's drilled here for your pins. This would be great when I want to just sew on buttons or whatever, and I want us to be able to sit in the living room with my husband at night and watch a movie. So that's why I bought that. Now, let's talk about that accidental bleeding. I was mortified, to say the least, because I made this top and I used fabric that I trusted. I felt like, it'll be okay. Red's risky, I know, but pre-wash, you should be okay. I didn't see any reason to think that I wouldn't be okay. But apparently, some companies like to oversaturate a color, such as red. I wore the garment 2 or 3 times, just a couple of hours each time, and I finally decided, let's go ahead and launder it. I laundered it in cold water, did not dry it. I hung it to dry. Didn't notice that there had been some bleeding done in the red part into the white with letter print that I used for the double collar. So when I took it out to go to my ASG meeting, that's when I noticed, why is that pink in the white now? It wasn't like that before. It had bled, and I was just, no. I spent the last week trying to get this out, and what's happened, I had to research it first. So to let you know, highly recommend Dawn dish detergent, the blue, is a very good, will help release the dye from where it shouldn't be. Also, color catchers are good, and you really have to have the water hot, and it does need to soak to try to remove this dye that I don't want in certain fabrics, get it to that bleed to come out. So it is working. It's taken a little bit. There's been times my color catchers are very, very red, And right now I'm getting pale pink or nothing at all. So pretty much out of the front of the whole garment, all that's gone. Yeah, see, it spread. That's what it did first. It spread. And there was a time when I dumped the water and it was so red. I thought, goodness, this is never going to come out. But when I switched to the Oxyclean, there was one more time when it was pretty red, but not as red as that one time that I dumped it. But it was more red than it was pink. And I dumped that thinking, oh, here's one more big bad bleed. But I noticed that the front garment was pretty much white again, not as pink. And I thought, wow, that's pretty neat. That's pulling that out. When I flipped it over and looked at the more the predominantly black side with the little white lines, most of it had come out. And I thought, okay, we're getting somewhere now. Only thing is right here on one shoulder, it's still kind of pinkish, and that white on the collar is still kind of pinkish. Now there's parts of it where it's more white, so I know it's pulling it out. It's really trying to pull it out. So hopefully just a couple more soakings and I'll have that resolved and won't have to worry about it anymore. And I'm thinking that I've soaked it so much, most likely I've taken care of the over dyeing as well. So I don't think I'll have to worry about this anymore after I do this. But I wanted to let you know and share that information. If you've ever had an accident happen, even with a quilt, there are tons of videos out there that talk to you about how to get that out of your quilt when you've finished one. And they are very, very good videos. So if you have something and you're a little worried about what you're going to do about it, yes, it's time consuming, but it's not impossible to get it out. Those are the encouraging things. So I've been using Shout um, color catchers. The Tide works just as well, but those are the two products I've used as far as color catchers: OxyClean and Dawn dish detergent and very hot water. So there you go. That's how you get it out. Hopefully I'll be able to show you that next time I have the video, and it'll all be really pretty again, and you'll get to see that and that it really does work. All right, that's it for this video, and I look forward to sharing a heirloom sewing sort of video with you. I'm going to be using a Vogue vintage pattern for this. It's got a rounded yoke inset. That's where I'll put all the detail. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with you in the next video, and which will probably be in 2 weeks, because this stuff is time consuming, everybody. Very, very time consuming. I look forward to sharing that with you in the next video. Happy sewing.